It's May 18, 2013. I just came across this. It's printed in The Guardian, and I will link below to all of the articles that I'm going to be showing in this video. But the ETC Group has produced a world map of geoengineering that represents the first attempt to document the expanding scope of research and experimentation in the large-scale manipulation of Earth or climate systems. This in The Guardian, and it was posted July 2012. The Guardian it's just loaded with articles about the geoengineering, climate change. Don't dismiss geoengineering. We may need it one day. We may need it one day. And they talk about the Spice Project, and they go on and on and on, talking about what the effects could be about, from geoengineering. But they're continually using language that absolutely suggests that we're not doing it yet, but we all know we are doing it. And so I found it very interesting that The Guardian would print a map which indicates the hot spots of geoengineering, the spots where some reported activity has occurred, and spots where no reported activity has occurred. The hot spots, all of the United States, Canada, Greenland, and the European Union. These pale yellow, or whatever that color is, are where some reported activity has taken place, and these gray spots are where no reported activity has taken place. And interestingly, one of those no activity places is Paraguay. And Paraguay, in a spin about Bush's alleged 100,000 acre hideaway. Those who have a lot of money are actually just buying tons of land in areas where there is no activity. Now, how is it that The Guardian could actually publish a map of where geoengineering is actually being researched, experimented, and yet they're loaded with articles on climate change and geoengineering as a possibility. As a possibility. This strikes me as very odd. Now, this is the ETC. The ETC Group, Monitoring Power, Tracking Technology, Strengthening Diversity. It's a very good blog. This is one of the articles, The Artificial Intelligence of Geoengineering. They have a lot of good information. Some of the articles are ETC Group calls for a ban on all testing or deployment of geoengineering technologies and supports a move away from intensive agricultural towards strengthening of agroecological and peasant-led agricultural systems. ETC Group calls for a ban on all testing or deployment of that was the same thing, sorry. Civil society organizations to the International Panel on Climate Change, which is that UN, the 60 scientists that have absolutely published fraudulent data on climate change. This article is, they're saying, take geoengineering off the table. They have an open letter to the IPCC on geoengineering. So, James Hansen, it's published yesterday in Bloomberg. James Hansen, who is such, oh my God, James Hansen from NASA, okay, he's the big, hey, let's get, CO2. He's a big global warming propagandist. And, I mean, this guy has it's just phenomenal. Do the research on James Hansen, because he's being paid by groups to speak, which is illegal for a government employee to, you know, take money from speaking engagements and all that kind of stuff, especially when it's politically motivated. But Greenland the ice melting at an expanding pace. This is what he says. The ice melting in Greenland is at an expanding pace and may begin cooling the North Atlantic, increasing the severity of storms by 2075. That from NASA scientists who raised concerns about global warming in the 1980s. This guy has had to backtrack on so many things that he has said because other scientists have said, James, what you're saying is wrong. The lies are really getting to me. They're really getting to me. Greenland. Well, guess what? It's a hot spot. Geoengineering. There is also documentation that shows that they're dumping black carbon dust on Greenland to melt the ice. All of it is intentional. All of it is man-made, not global warming. Because the IPCC, the United Nations group, has almost, what was the last number? Like 1 to 86 scientists around the world who have claimed that man is not causing global warming. And these CO2 numbers are irrelevant because CO2 is actually beneficial to the planet, beneficial for planets, and it could raise a whole lot, up to thousands, up to 1,000. They've done studies on this. NASA, NOAA, they have done studies that show, they had to do them for their astronauts and everything, to show what levels of CO2 were safe for the human being, and those levels were in the thousands. And so now, just this week, Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman comes out and says, oh my God, we've reached, 400, CPMs, I think. We've reached 400. Oh my God, we've got to do something to change this, to, knock down the CO2. They want to pass the carbon tax. And if they pass the carbon tax, we will all be paying through the nose. And they will control every aspect of our life. As if they're not doing that now. Please get this information out. This is not a very good video because I just found this and I remembered that Bush had bought the land in Paraguay and I remembered the ice melting in Greenland, so I'm just putting it together very spontaneously. But it is just amazing that The Guardian could actually print this, show to the world that, yeah, geoengineering is actually happening, and then also, at the same time, publish articles that say, well, we have to really be cautious, and geoengineering may be needed. It may be needed while it's actually being done. I'll link below to all of the articles. Please post this on your Facebook. Please send it out to email contacts. Please do whatever it is that you can to get this information out. Thank you.